Hello, everyone. It's Art Russell here at thinktwice.me at WordPress and Think Twice on YouTube. Today, I'd like to share some information that I hope will help lead you towards your own direct recognition of your higher self. Now, why is this important, you might ask? Because the perspective of the person that we usually assume ourselves to be is ultimately going to be filled with suffering. I'd like you to be able to avoid some of that unnecessary suffering. And that can be avoided through understanding of what we truly are, essentially, not as the person. The person is a very unstable perspective because it usually involves one day good, one day not so good. Here's your partner today, but the partner may have died the following day. You have a good job one day, the job is lost in a downturn of the economy. These type of situations that go with life on earth. So I'd like to share some information that I hope will be helpful. One of the most important pointings that I shared in my book entitled This Taste of Flesh and Bones, which is available through Amazon, relates to eyesight. Now, I first became aware of this a few years ago, and I used my deeper understanding of eyesight to help lead me toward a deeper knowing of my essential nature beyond art. So the way eyesight works is light is actually entering our eyes. That light hits the retina of our eyes, where it's converted into signals. Those signals are interpreted, go to the visual cortex at the back of the brain, where they're related to higher function of the brain and where they're made into images that we perceive. Now, those images actually take place within the brain, projected outward. So anything we're seeing does not have independent existence, including our body minds. So the point I make in the book is that everything that we see is a representation. It has no independent standing of its own. Most of us assume that there's an eye as in a person, located somewhere behind the forehead here, or maybe in the region of the heart, close to the heart. That's where we feel like where we really are. This is not the case. This can be more deeply understood if I heard it put this way once and it really worked for me. If we think of our body mind as a camera, a unit, a camera, rather than a photographer. Most of us assume that there's a little eye, as I said before, up here, peering out. That's not the true case. So this helps us, an understanding of this, of knowing that the images that we see, that we believe are out here beyond us, including our body mind, the person, the arm, the hand, are actually seen within, but appear to be without, on the outside. When we remember that light is entering our eyes, just light, that's how they work. Same with the ears. It's not light, it's vibration. And that vibration is converted into sound within the brain. That's the way it works. Anyway, this is important, as I said, because if we always have our focus outward, which most people do, they're looking outward, and they're trying to have a good life, a happy life, by acquiring things or favorable circumstances. They want that special partner or that special house, a car, but most people will be able to relate to the fact that that happiness is very brief. It's usually fleeting. That first car, maybe it gives you excitement and pleasure for a little longer than the following ones. But as you buy more and more, if you're able to do so, you get a new car, and within a few days you go, yeah, so it's a new car. But we've been conditioned to believe that purchasing things outside of ourselves will bring us happiness. That's not so. The real happiness comes from within, from residing in and as what we essentially are beyond name and form. To know anything, there has to be a knower. And to find that knower, that deeper dimension of self, what we do is turn our attention inward. I learned this primarily from Eckhart Tolle and Rupert Spira, two incredible teachers, and this was primarily on YouTube. So I'm hoping to pass along some of this information and help give the gift that you can realize in yourself. The true treasure is within yourself, recognizing the higher self. That higher self is beyond suffering, because then we actually treat this form, this name, Art Russell, as a representation of what we actually are. Anyway, I think let's leave it at that for today. That's given you something to think about. Truly question about how does vision, how does eyesight actually occur? Remember, there's not an eye in here looking out. This is a representational form. Forms are made by light entering and getting converted into images projected as though they're outward. Anyway, there's more information in my book if you care to look into that. Bye for now. We'll talk again soon.